Hi. Good evening. I gotta get ready for work. I work as a CNA at a mental health hospital, and I just keep seeing something very disturbing, which is people posting up saying to make asylums great again. Now, you may think that's a joke, but it's not. It's not. They're usually referring to trans people, which, sorry, but those have existed forever. Yeah, like, have you ever heard of the Greek god, demigod, Hermaphroditus? He got connected to a female nymph who didn't want to leave him and became both. That's a little bit different, I suppose, but not that far off, really. But, like, definitions change and social constructs change, and people, people will say that, like, cross-dressing, for example, is no longer, sorry, shaky can, it's no longer considered transgender, right? But there's plenty of things that are and plenty of things that aren't, and, like, definitions change and move and meld as society deems necessary, right? Let's put these somewhere else. But, like, even the word asylum isn't used anymore. It's mental health facility or hospital. There is a difference between a hospital and a facility, generally speaking. I work at a hospital. It's state-run even. There's a couple of them here in Virginia, so whatever. But that's not the point. The point is, do you know where they started? Make them great again? What are you even saying? What are you even saying? Do you even know? Electroshock therapy was a thing, right? Technically, it still is. Just very, very different. Now we use chemicals instead of, lobotomies. You know what an ice pick lobotomy actually is? Similar, it's not exactly an ice pick. And they would go right in here behind the duct in your eye and up into the prefrontal cortex and just scrape it until you couldn't function anymore. Yeah, you're calm now. Make them great again? What, with chemical testing? That law isn't really all that recent, that you can no longer test people against their will with chemicals and inoculations. That's not that old. Do you know what eugenics is? Those were practiced there too. Make asylums great again? Just because somebody wants to be comfortable in their skin? Are you kidding? Do you even hear yourself? I wouldn't wish it upon your children, because you would be so very terrible to them. That's why. Everybody deserves to be treated humanely. It's kind of in the name, human? Wow, big concept. That is disgusting to me. It is disgusting. Make asylums great again. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You probably think I'm disgusting. Oh, look, you got short butch hair. Yeah, I work at a mental health facility. I don't necessarily want it pulled. Yeah, I've had hair, real long. You know what that becomes? A handle. Yeah, there's plenty of girls that I work with that have long hair. I just don't see a point to it. Yeah, it's pretty. I'm constantly putting it up, and because I have so much hair, like, it becomes heavy and it'll pull on my scalp, give me migraines. I already got enough weight. There's a calendar alert because I have alarms set for my work. But it boggles the mind. If you know anything about mental health, to say make asylums great again. There's so many things wrong with that. So many. You know, the facility I work at, the first person to ever been like put in the facility, he was a teacher and he was there for basically mental exhaustion. Yeah, that was the first client. But I'm fortunate to work at a facility that has been open for, I believe they just hit 150 years of continuous service. And they have always had patient-centered care. So they're focused on the individual and making them better, not just on like research. Hey, does this inoculation work? Tell me. Yeah. Make asylums great again. Do you have anybody with mental health issues in your family? Are you a compassionate human being? Doesn't sound like it. Like, what? Oh. You know, something else that's also a little tricky when talking about it is, larger facilities such as the one I work at, don't generally take a lot of clients that are civil. They tend to take more forensics because forensics pays better. Forensics are people with charges. They've come from jail. Sometimes prison. But usually jail because they want competency to stand trial. Most of them get it. Most of them get competency. They just needed some medication to help them even out, and they need to know that they know what their charges are and what they mean, which can be a big thing when you're having a manic episode. But a lot of people are trying to get NGRI. Like, for example, it was a manic episode. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, was it premeditated? Did you continue after they started yelling, stop? No. Yeah. But the nice thing is there's a good regime, there's a good, you know, testing system, there's treatment teams, there's updates, there's people that follow them, there's a process. Less than 1% get NGRI. And we see a lot of different things. A lot of it's violent assaults, things of that nature. Every once in a while we get a MAP. I can't say the other word. Yeah, seen a few of them. Don't like it, but I have to treat them human. And I really don't matter because I'm here to treat that person. I'm here to help that person. I'm here to but help that person get to where they need to go. Jail, prison, whatever. Because like I said, less than 1% gets that. And if you know anything about the prison system, you know, there's continued justice after the courtroom. So it bothers me when people say, make asylums great again. Why? Because you don't like people putting on makeup, putting on a dress. Now, I get it, that, like, you don't want... The funny thing is, not a lot of problems with women dressing masculine. They've been doing it a long time, right? Pants? Now, women wanting to be men, a little bit different, I suppose. But then when it's men dressing in dresses, it's a problem. Because, oh, they're trying to get into female-only spaces. Girls have been doing it a while. They're usually called tomboys. Kind of a weird double standard, if you ask me. But I get it. I get it, right? But do you think a bathroom sign is going to stop a person from walking into the opposite gendered bathroom? Do you? I mean, what are you going to start doing? Posting police officers outside of public restrooms? Most of the time people are there just to pee, not necessarily do something. Although it does happen. Assaults do happen in bathrooms. I've actually seen quite a bit of that. Not witnessed it, but people who are afraid to use shower rooms because they've been assaulted in bathrooms. Happens a lot in mental health, actually. That's why it's really hard to get these people to take showers. And that's a hurdle you have to deal with. There's other reasons people don't want to keep up with their hygiene. Depression can make people not want to keep up with their hygiene. But just, I get that you don't want men in women-only spaces. I get that. But you've got to have lines somewhere, right? Right. So I get that cross-dressing is no longer considered trans because it's just clothing, right? It doesn't mean that you necessarily want to be the opposite gender. I knew a man who dressed in drag and still wanted to be a man, still wanted to be heterosexual, just enjoyed dressing in women's clothing. Didn't make him anything else. So I understand that mentality, but then where is the line? If you're going to come up with parameters, make them clear. Transparency is always really nice. What time is it? It's time anyway. Sorry, I have to take a medicine timed and gotta take it with me because, you know, my back hurts. Aside from that, I myself am considered intersex. Never had any dangly bits, but trying to get the documentation right now from the surgeon who removed them. Said I had testes. 2. 8 millimeters each. Removed them along with endometriosis. And I'm not finding the documentation. That's what's bothering me. And I'm actually running an inquest right now. Because if you're going to accuse me of not being female, because I don't produce enough hormones, and because you found testes, and because you also think I'm infertile, where's the documentation? Where's the documentation of what were they called? Cysts? No, they weren't cysts. They were not tumors. They were, I forget the actual name of it, but not abscess. It would have been more of a tissue that you removed. How would you know they were testes unless you tested them? So where's the documentation of the testing? Where are the results? Because it's not in the documentation they sent me. So I'm running an inquest. If you're going to be that accusatory and that nasty to me, have the proof. Have the proof. Because it's not anywhere I can see it. And I even had my chromosomes tested and they said, no, 2X. Then what did he remove and where's the documentation of what he removed? I have some, not all. I have the documentation that it was removed, but I don't have the documentation of what it was. Other than his word. That's not good enough. That's improper documentation. It's also slander. So, best get on that. So, I'll probably be getting a call back from the CEO. That's what I'm told anyway. Ooh, because that doctor's on vacation. Good for you, buddy. I've heard a lot of nasty things about that doctor since I've seen that doctor. Not good things. Not my problem, it's gonna be his. So yeah. And it wasn't even 10 years ago, so then I know they still have the documentation. After 10 years, then you can destroy documentation per like most medical records because of like decedent sort of laws. But hasn't been that long, so you best get on it. So yeah, I feel kind of strange about the whole like make asylums great again for trans people because you think it's a mental disease. Gender dysphoria is not necessarily a disease, it's an issue of self-conception. You have issues with the way you see yourself. A lot of people do. You look in the mirror, do you see what you see? Like, so I find it very strange. I get a lot of trans hate personally. I guess because I look more masculine. I mean, I'm not, but I get it. I do get it. Like, cause I got muscles. Like, I'm not exactly shaped all that feminine except this. And even in the face, like, yeah, a lot of my secondary characteristics are more masculine. But this is just the voice I use. It's not my natural voice necessarily. My natural voice is a little bit deeper. I don't use it because it tends to throw people off. So it's kind of pointless. But yeah, I just make asylums great again. What are you talking about? There's so many people that know nothing about mental health, and then they say stuff like that. I think you need to flip yourself over because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't seem to know your head from your butt. And a lot of those people don't even, like, a lot of the people that are complaining about trans don't even know basic, like, physical anatomy. Like, that's bothersome too. Like, are you the same type of person who thinks women can hold their periods? Maybe it's just because I really enjoy physical science. Oh, my light turned out. Let's take a walk into the darkness. But I think, like, a lot of people don't know anything about, like, anatomy, physiology, maybe they know about astronomy. Ooh, I need socks. I also need to fix my keys. Yeah, my room's kind of messy. I don't feel like fixing it necessarily, but I really enjoy physical science. I really, really do. And I always have. I also enjoy philosophy and religion, and I nearly have a bachelor's in that. About 16 credit hours away from a... Why is this not working? I'm about 16 credit hours away from a bachelor's in religion and philosophy because... There we go. Because, when I transferred my credits over, I couldn't go into a degree program without a math, and I'm terrible at math. So then my GPA was too low. Great. Ugh, pudge, man. You know, if I stand up, you can see the linea alba. That's about as far as I can get, because this is actually, yeah, a little bit of fat, but it's mostly my connective tissue disorder. I have Ehlers-Danlos. I'm a bit too stretchy. Like, I mean, like, I'm a little dehydrated right now, but like, that's my hand. I have vascular Ehlers-Danlos as well. So, if I don't eat enough salt and sugar, my veins can't constrict enough. But then if I drink water to try and prevent the kidney stones that the salt produces, my cells will essentially leach out the trace minerals that they need, and I'll pass out from that. There's no fixing it. There's no fixing it. There's no winning. Hooray. Yeah, I don't know. I would say I'm holding it together with super glue and duct tape. The problem is I'm allergic to super glue, or at least liquid stitches. Pretty similar, a little bit chemically different. So it's dental floss and duct tape, except I'm not great with adhesives. They rip off a lot of skin. Holding it together with fairy farts and magic. Oh, I can't get these socks on, man. Sorry. I wear compression socks at work because if I'm going to be standing for 8 hours, man, you gotta do something about it. Look, I know I look younger than I am. Don't really act it either. Haha. Where's the fun in that? I'm actually in my 40s. Just barely. Yeah, and I started trying to have a family later because of that whole, like, issue with the fertility doctor being an absolute piece of work. I don't have a lot of luck in the medical field. Look, it's taken literally 41 years to get diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos. And that would have solved a lot of things if people had known. I probably wouldn't have died on the operating table giving birth to my daughter if they had paid attention to that. I had a diagnosis of some sort of random connective tissue disorder at that point, but not Ehlers-Danlos. Because I remember saying, I don't know if it's Ehlers-Danlos, and he goes, no, it's this, which is really similar. Turns out he was wrong. I went to a geneticist. I have Ehlers-Danlos. Ooh. Yeah, I bled out. It was really neat, though, because I had been in labor for 12 hours, and they finally decided, we'll do a C-section, because every time you roll, her heartbeat dips. So, yeah, it's not like they didn't have plenty of time to look at my chart, right? Medical malpractice. Yeah. I went in. They gave me, they'd given me the pain block. They missed the first time. I really wasn't feeling anything at that point, not even contractions, but apparently they were happening. They broke my water. They took me back. They gave me something else. And at that point, they put my hands, my wrists under bands. And I said, why are we doing this? They said, oh, so that you don't help. And I said, well, I can't. My hands are shaking because you can't stop. And I asked why, and they said, that's the medicine that we gave you. I said, okay. And then they pull up this little, like, table tennis net looking like thing. It's not, like, it's maybe this tall. And I go, oh, I wanted to see. And they go, no, you don't. Like, yeah, actually, I do. And of course, they get my baby out and they let me kiss her cheek. At first she didn't cry. Like, they were a little worried that she couldn't feel pain, but they got it. And then I can't get these socks on. Maybe my feet are sweating or something. I don't know. It is a little hot in here. Struggle bus. What time is it? Time enough. That's what time. And like, they're working on different things, and they go, okay, this is gonna be a really hard push. And they push below, like, where the table tennis net is. They're trying to push all my organs back in. Because, you know, your uterus kind of comes out along with a bunch of intestines because of the relief of pressure. Like, you would be surprised how much a baby takes up space. Your intestines end up in your chest, you know? So, of course, when they release that, it all kind of comes out. And they go, it's going to be a big push. It felt like 2 people with 100-pound packs on jumping through me. It was an immense amount of pain, even with all the pain blockers. But I was still watching. And they're trying to push all my organs back in. And you know those joke cans of peanuts? Snakes everywhere? That's what it looked like. I saw a ribbon of intestine go over a nurse's head. And I'm just like, oh, that's neat. That's gonna suck, though. But because of the pain, I see that, and then I roll my head over. And the surgeon is now petting my hand, and his eyes are huge because he just saw the same thing. And I see this suction, which is about the size of a gallon jug, right? And it's almost full. And I look up at the surgeon, I go, dude, that's too much blood. And he looks at me and looks where I'm looking. He goes, no, it's not, don't look at it. And I go, no, dude, you don't understand. I have a connective tissue disorder. That's too much blood. I'm O positive. See you later. And as I'm saying O positive, see you later, my vision's just black. And I hear him and feel him, like, stand up and scream F. And I mean, scream it full lung. And then nothing. 6 hours later, I woke up in a different room with a nervous man begging me not to sue the hospital because I died. I didn't bother. Like, I could have made money, sure, but I'm alive. And that's what I said. I'm like, I'm not gonna sue the hospital. I'm alive. Don't let it happen again. Because I also know, I could sue the hospital, but I'm not even gonna, I might break a little more than even, but not by much. Like, it was a Navy hospital. I'm trying to sue the U.S. government for malpractice. Good luck. Really. So yeah, like, make asylums great again. Do you hear yourself? I don't think you do. I need a shirt. I don't feel like it. There we go. I wear way too much black. I wear a lot of black. Life's not a funeral. You sure about that? You're oxidizing. Can you feel it? You know, oxygen's actually quite poisonous. Which way's up? I wouldn't know. And that's something else. You know, people are simply saying, make asylums great again because they're not compassionate human beings. They're just not. They have no third-person perspective. They're not compassionate. And unfortunately, I see that a lot in my work. I won't name any names, obviously. That would be very rude. But you see nurses burn out. Not just nurses, CNAs, floor techs, whatever. They burn out. It happens to everybody. But the problem is when they come back, that well of compassion has not refilled. And as a result, you're not getting good patient care. You're just not. And it's not just in mental health. It's not just in physical health. It is a pandemic throughout all of humanity right now. That people are just not compassionate. I don't even care about empathetic. I'm talking about compassionate, just a little bit of care. The internet probably has a lot to do with that because of the anonymity. But it's disturbing. And I fear for the future generation growing up. And you won't catch me saying that often. but I do. It is concerning. Make asylums great again. You ever had a family member in one? You ever checked into one yourself? You ever think that those people have greater issues than just wanting to wear different clothes? You ever seen somebody in a schizophrenic manic episode and had to talk them down while they are literally trying to kill you? I have. I don't think you'd like it much. I don't think you quite understand what you're saying. I don't think people do. I don't think they understand the level of what they're saying. And I've had people like on the internet call me schizophrenic and then try to say that I hear voices. Did you know I actually work at a facility specifically for people with schizophrenia? And voices, while they are a symptom, they are not mutually exclusive to that mental disease. Not everybody who has schizophrenia hears voices. And in fact, everybody hears voices. That's what your inner voice is supposed to be. Ding dong. I don't understand people sometimes. I guess they're just trying to be inflammatory. Why? What does it gain you? I don't know. Not my concern. But it is my concern to help people gain some sort of level of understanding. And I don't think they understand what they're saying. However, being by the grace that I work in that field, I do understand what you're saying, and you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to admit that you're wrong. What's not okay is to continue on once you know better. Because ignorance is not knowing. Stupidity is knowing and doing anyway. You're stupid. You are stupid when you say make asylums great again. You are stupid. Google is free. You can look up the word asylum and immediately know that you're wrong. You're choosing to be stupid. And I'm sorry if this is mean. It's not necessarily meant to be mean. I would like to say it's meant to be informative and not callous, because I know it sounds callous. But you yourself have put yourself in this situation. Am I supposed to have empathy? I do. That's why I'm making this. But you have to try at some point. You have to put your best foot forward as well. I can't walk for you. So please, before you say make asylums great again, think for 5 seconds. Just 5. Maybe longer. Look inward. How would you feel if you were in their shoes? You unempathetic, unhumanitarian. Your inability to be any bit altruistic is pathetic. Do better.